Contrary to what was believed for most human history, human beings are not in fact the hub of existence. As Stephen Hawking famously said, we're just chemical scum on the surface of a typical planet that's in orbit around a typical star, which is on the outskirts of a typical galaxy, and so on. That was a TED Talk by David Deutch, who is a British physicist at University of Oxford and is known as the father of quantum computing. And in my opinion, that was the best talk that was ever given in the entire human history. And let me explain why. David Deutch is talking about the intergalactic space, which is very dark, very empty, and very cold. It is so dark that if you were to look at the nearest star, and that star were to explode into a supernova, you would be staring at it the moment its light reached you. You still wouldn't be able to see even a glimmer. That's how dark and big the intergalactic space is. And that's despite the fact that supernova is such a brilliant event that it would kill you stone dead at a range of several light years, and yet you would not be able to see it. The intergalactic space is so dark and cold and empty, and it's so empty that it's 1,000,000 times less dense than the highest vacuum our technology can create on Earth. So how untypical of an environment Earth is compared to intergalactic space, right? But how do we know about an environment that's so far away and so alien to us? Then David Deutch highlights something super important. In fact, the most important information in the entire existence of humanity. And that is the fact that on Earth, we have the ability to create knowledge. But what does that mean? Let's imagine for a second that we look even further, let's say with a telescope, right? We look into distant quasars, which means quasi-stellar objects, star-like objects, but they're not actually stars. But we know what they are, although we have never been there. In fact, humans could not even exist in a quasar. Yet, we exactly know what they are. Billions of years ago and billions of light years away, a galaxy collapsed into a supermassive black hole, which created intense magnetic fields. And the energy and matter of this gravitational collapse were directed in the form of jets with the brilliance of 1,000,000,000,000 stars. The physics of a human brain is so different than that of a quasar. The human mind would immediately collapse inside this supermassive black hole. And yet, that quasar jet happened precisely in such a way that billions of years later, billions of light years further away, a bit of chemical scum could accurately explain and predict and model the physical mechanism of that object, which means that the brain, this one physical system, contains the accurate working model of another physical system, which is the quasars. And not just a superficial model, but an explainable, causal, mathematical model of this other physical reality. So that is knowledge. As if this wasn't amazing enough, the faithfulness with which one structure resembles the other increases over time. And that is the growth of knowledge. The whole point of the video that David Deutch is trying to make is that, yes, we are chemical scum, but unlike what Stephen Hawking emphasized, we're not just a chemical scum. We're the chemical scum that is able to create and grow knowledge. So this chemical scum has universality. This physical structure contains the entire universe. This place, and not other places in the universe, is a hub which contains in itself the structural and causal essence of the entire physical reality. The fact that this can happen is the most important fact in physical reality. Chemical scums who contain the entire universe. Yeah. So do what you may with that information.